This is the pasture that we are moving the cows to. We will start from this corner this is the back right corner of the property, and then we just set up a series of paddocks down through here. Here's the well-worn path of from the cows. This is where the lane will be as the cows move down to each new paddock. We keep them to this lane and then continue on around in a counterclockwise rotation until we get back to here, and then we take them back to the front. But one of the key things to look for when you're rotating your pasture, and to ensure that you're not overgrazing, is look at your grass and keep studying it. And if you are turning cows or any animal out where the grass has see, all the grass out here is pointy. The leaves are pointed. That's how they're supposed to be. But after it's been grazed or mowed and allowed to grow for a while, they'll have flattened off tips. Okay, see if that focus better. All right, so if you see grass that has flattened off tips, that means it hasn't fully recovered from the last grazing, and you don't need to put your animals out on it. So, all right, it's time to get busy. Okay, we've just about got the first paddock done. You can see the boys are putting in the line posts. We have a fence that runs down the tree line over there. Make a corner. We've got a metal post down there for a corner post, and then bring it on around. And here's the corner of the paddock. Okay, I'll just talk right quick about my fence reels. Some of them are crap. Some others are not as bad a piece of crap. I've not found it in my budget yet for $50 reels that have 3-to-1 ratios, which would be awesome, but right now we're dealing with this kind of stuff. But anyways, so the way I set this up, this string is the and we're going to call this the left side of the paddock, because this would be the left side if you were standing up there where the boys are on the mule. So on this left side here, since we are going in this direction in the pasture, this counterclockwise rotation, I have the string started up there. There's a gate where James is at right now, a spring gate, and we hook it on the post up there, and then come down to here and we make a corner. Okay, we'll make a corner and go down to our next post. Basically speaking, for these paddocks here, we're doing 20 paces wide, and then we adjust with the contours of the land. But anyway, so the reason why I make this corner right here is because we are going in this counterclockwise rotation, because tomorrow when we move the cows over here, we still need this string. Okay, we still need this tomorrow, and so therefore we can bend the corner, because we're going to need this back string tomorrow. So you just have to use a little bit of thought and planning. I'm guilty of using neither on occasion, but because if we did it the other way, if we pulled the string from that corner to here, now we've got, tomorrow there would be string and fence posts that would have to stay up because it's part of this corner, or we'd have to waste a lot of time rearranging fence so that we could free up those posts and free up some of the electric twine. So, all right, continuing on. Okay, so here is the spring gate. Here is the spring gate. It just allows us to quickly and easily move cows over to the next paddock, and we just replicate this on the other side of the paddock and continue on down as we go through the pasture. And then it's what allows us to hook a string on this end and run it down and turn and make a corner, because if we were trying to do, if we did it in reverse, if we pulled from down there and ran it up here, and then you're having to roll some string up to get out of the way using the string as a gate, it just leads to problems. It leads to the fence sagging down, and it's best if the fence just stays tight. So anyways, the spring gate is just, for me, the way to go. All right, this is another product here that, for the money, I hate the most. Okay, but I have it, so I use it. This is made by Gallagher. It's supposed to have 4 strands on it, but as you can see, there's an empty spool. That's because eventually this starts to happen. Okay, it starts to fray up, and eventually it will break. The string will break, and Gallagher tells you that you can splice it back together and reuse it, but it doesn't work. I tried. After splicing it, splicing means you're just tying a knot. I don't care how small a knot you tie that will actually hold. It will not go through that hole. Okay, so I had one break, and I just eliminated that string. I pulled all that string off and put on a spool, and so that's just what's going to happen as we use this, and we have this kind of stuff happening. I'll just take the string off of here and move it onto a spool and use it for a single strand. But the system is a pretty good idea to have a self-contained system of posts and electric fence, and you can set up a whole paddock, a small paddock, with just this one unit. But like I said, for the money, for what you spend for it, in my opinion, it is not worth it. So I do not recommend buying this. I only got this because I got a package deal from someone who was selling all their stuff, and they just happened to have one. All right, so let me get this thing set up. To spool this out, okay, we have this spool system, and when it's tightened, it's not going to allow these to turn. Okay, they'll turn if you turn the crank, turn the handle over there. But if you want to free spool so you can pull all the string out, then you're going to have to loosen this. So we loosen it to the left, just a few turns, okay, and now we can start paying this out. Well, there it is in all its undeserved glory. It's the Gallagher 7000 fence system. And so, like I said, it's a good concept to be able to carry all your posts and string in one spot, and and having multiple strands for animals that don't respect a single strand is not a bad thing. But ultimately, this will fail. At the far end, this top strand here is starting to unravel. So anyways, well, I'll show you right quick. But and it's got this handy dandy little docking area, and you just take each individual line post, put it in its designated hole, and then it locks in. Supposedly it locks in here. Oh yeah, well you got to get it down all the way down in the hole first. There you go, and then it just and so as we reel this in, we can just reel in the twine and stow the fence posts. And it does have these guy lines here to help give some stability. It just helps, so don't overdo it, because it will fall over if you try to put too much tension on it. Okay, here we go, back at it. Well, we've got a few days worth of paddocks set up. Just waiting on the boys to bring the water tank back here and set it out and put some water in it, and then we can bring the cows back here. So this will be the paddock we feed today, and they'll be on here through to tomorrow morning after milking, and then we'll just, when it's time to move them, we'll pull a string from the perimeter fence over there behind the four-wheeler and pull a string across here, open this, and then they can come in here. Now they will, it is getting hot, so what we'll do is leave that leave that gate right there open, but where they turn the corner coming down the lane and then turn to the left to come here, we'll close that off, but we'll leave them access to that little clump of trees so they can go and get in the shade. So close this spring, as well as this next one. Another good reason to have several paddocks set up, especially when you have some new cows who may not respect the fence as much, or you have heifers, young cows, calves who are just getting used to this type of arrangement. When you have several paddocks set up, should for some reason they slip under the fence or through the fence, they're at least still somewhat contained and less prone to be wandering off into oblivion. So that's pretty much that. So after the cows eat over here and we move them to the next day paddock, and that's when we will go down to the corner down there and take down that bit of fence, pull up those fence posts, so we can then utilize it to set up another paddock further into the future. And we'll continue to build a lane that goes down through here, that follows the path, and so that we keep the cows where we want them to be, and we just replicate this gate system all the way down. And then once we reach the far end, we will just come around to the other side and come back this way and repeat the whole process. So if anything that I described wasn't clear, please ask me a question and I'll clarify anything that I didn't explain well enough. And thanks for joining me.